Thoughts on Purpose on Good Friday, today on the Landlord Coach Daily Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Good Friday edition of the Landlord Coach Daily Show. It is good to see you. My name is Mark Dolfini, Landlord Coach and host of the Landlord Coach Daily Show. Hope you're having an awesome day, end of the week, and heading into Easter weekend. What a great week it was, and what an awesome weekend it's going to be. So it's nice to see everybody. So today we're going to be talking about thoughts on purpose on Good Friday. So yeah, I had a really good conversation with a friend the other day, a friend who was he and I had been in the Marine Corps together, we're the same age. It's like we grew up very similar lives, but in different parts of the country, but yet somehow we became Marine brothers. And we got into a really good conversation the other day. One of the things we ended up talking about was how I got started in Landlord Coach. And one of the things that I always had to be careful about is how I have to be careful about the distractions that I will allow myself to get into, right? When when I first got started in Landlord Coach, I felt that one of the things that got me, or when I got started, let me back up a second, that I was having conversations with people in ways that were completely inauthentic to who I was. And I won't mention the person's name. If you're in the real estate space, you already know who this is. But they're constantly on their Facebook lives or whatever that is they're doing. They're running ads and they're showing these, like, they've got their cardboard cut out of their Lamborghini behind them, or maybe it's a real Lamborghini. Who knows if it's rented or not? But they're airplanes, and they're this, and they're flashing big checks in front of it. And that was something that I felt that I was supposed to be when I got started in this, and I got started in Landlord Coach, because that's what I saw. That's what I saw all the time. And it didn't resonate with me that that's what I wanted to be, but that's what I thought you had to be successful. I thought that you had to be this, like, just really obnoxious douche, on the internet. And I was like, man, that is just not what I want to be. So so I got thinking, back then I just had to really be really authentic in terms of who I was, and just, what is the driving force in my life, and got thinking about that. So this is back several years ago. So, I as a result, when I looked at what I saw that they were doing, or, and this wasn't just this limited to this one guy, but it was just a couple of different things that I saw that were, this guy was doing. And I thought, well, that's what I had to do to be successful. So it was really funny, because at the same time back then, I had a lot of internal conflict in terms of, driven by a need for approval, driven by, because I felt like past relationships that I had were not good. So, or if I was driven by needs for acceptance because I had past slights on me, or I was driven by bitterness because, relationships had ended badly, or that sort of thing, or past hurts that I had, or I was driven by fear, right? A fear of failure, or the lesser understood and lesser known fear of success. I had a very real fear of success, and as a result, I would sabotage myself in just stupid ways. Also, I also had this other driving need for materialism. And even though I wasn't really particularly happy, but I never had enough new stuff, right? I had this need for constantly renewed stuff in my life, and that was a problem that I was chasing. I'm not saying materialistic stuff is wrong. I mean, I want cool stuff too, but when it was just driven about that need for significance to have cool stuff, it was like, man, why am I, no matter how much new stuff I would get, there was always new stuff that I wanted to replace it, because I would get bored with the stuff, because the stuff never changed. It was always, well, once I got it, I was like, okay, that's cool, but does it do anything else, right? Is this all it ever is? Okay, well, I remember go chase something new, right? So it was that too. So all these different driving forces that were behind me at that point in time. And then I had to get real honest with myself about what it was that was really the driving force that I could get behind, that was authentic to me, authentic to what I was, and also what I wanted to teach other real estate investors, because I saw so much shallow crap out there. And I was like, man, I just don't want to be that. I said, there's got to be other people that feel like me, that look at this guy, that go, man, I really want to learn real estate stuff, but I just don't want to learn it from this guy, because he's just so much, right? He was so materialistic and so like that. That's what success. If that's what success was, I didn't really want any part of that. And I felt like that's, I kind of had to do that, right? So I ended up getting a coach, and I've gone through different coaches and things like this, but this particular coach was a very spiritually based, very 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 good devout Christian. Although he wasn't like punch it into your face kind of Christian, he was just a good devout guy, and but was unashamed about talking about it. But it was just kind of who he was. And he made me realize, through him and some lots of reading, lots of introspection, lots of studying, lots of video courses, lots of just prayer and meditation, and lots of very deep thought on this. This is kind of my thoughts here on purpose on Good Friday. And what it was really for, what I really understood was my driving force, what's really driving me to do the things that I do, was I really needed to find a way to use my gifts fully, use my God-given gifts fully, without shame, without fear, without regret, and using all of those God-given talents. If I use those things and those things only, it will keep me focused on the things that I'm supposed to be focused on and not allow myself to get distracted. So many of you know how I feel about vision. Many of you know how I feel about having a clear vision for your future. And in a lot of ways, I would stop at vision. I don't think vision is enough. I think it has to be in the context of purpose. And this is what I've been studying, and this is something I've been studying for a while now, for probably close to a year, much more much more intentionally over the last few months. But I really feel that vision is really more the lens that you look through to bring your purpose into clarity. And vision, while it's important, vision I feel like it can be somewhat selfish, but it can also be beyond yourself in terms of what your vision includes. And I'll talk about that another time. But I think if you look through your vision, if you kind of think of vision like not just like a lens, but maybe think of it like a keyhole that you look through, and your purpose is on the other side. If you spend too much time just looking at the keyhole, you're never going to see your purpose, right? But if you looked at your vision like as if you were going to look through your vision like a lens, or looking through it as a keyhole, you have to look at it at the right angle, right? You have to look at it and bring it into focus, and you bring it at the right level. You can't be too high, right? Through a keyhole, you can't be too low, too left, or too right. You have to be lined up with it the right way, and all of a sudden your purpose gets real clear. And for me, that's what I feel like I did. I mean, it was a long process, and I really haven't decided like exactly what my purpose is. But I think, you know, it does involve. It doesn't really have much to do with real estate, but it does have a lot to do with showing people. I don't care what the mechanism is that you use to make money, but if you are looking at purpose, and you're looking at what your purpose here is. I'm sitting here thinking about it like, well, I'm not some, Bible beating, you know, uh, freak, religious freak. I think God wants spiritual fruit, not religious nuts. But in the context, and then let's bring this into Good Friday, right? Whether you think that Jesus is the Messiah or not, I believe he is. You can't take away from him a couple things. You can't take away that he, number one, used his God-given gifts. And you cannot take away from him that he was driven by vision and purpose. So, in the context of Good Friday, for all of you Christians who practice that and recognize Good Friday for what it is, that, if nothing else, if you're going to live that lifestyle, maybe you should look at your purpose in terms of why you're here, and maybe not focus on all those other things that you were being driven by, whether it was need for approval or acceptance or need for materialism or bitterness or fear or whatever it was that was driving you, right? So Anyway, I know it's a little heavy today, but I thought it was appropriate given the holiday, and no matter where you stand on your religion, I hope that you have a peaceful day, an awesome and amazing weekend, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Please be sure to place value on your free time. Spend it with people that you love and people that you deeply care about. Have an awesome day. We'll see you guys next time.